So then we came to the next presentation. Dr. Horia Petran, Head of Center of Energy Performance of Buildings in Romania and coordinator of the Build Up Skill QUALICHECK, will give us an overview about the outcome, Build Up Skills, qualification schemes for installation, building envelope installers. Please, Horia.
Hello, everybody. I will try to present you in a short series of presentation our initiatives, our concerns, our activities, our achievements in the direction of qualification of construction workers and construction specialists to ensure the energy efficiency and climate targets. I will start with the context, with a short history. We started to effectively tackle this issue within the Intelligent Energy Europe Build Up Skills Action Initiative by having a roadmap after intensive consultations, discussions with the stakeholders and with a very high expert team. We develop a roadmap for the qualification towards 2020 and beyond. And based on this roadmap, which provided some actions, structures on several objectives, we defined the strategy of action going from the roadmap to implementation. We identified a big gap in terms of qualification of workers, on-site workers, for the high-performance building envelope execution. So we defined one qualification schemes with two main components, the opaque part and the window system part, for the installers of these components. This was the main goal of the QUALICHECK Build Up Skills QUALICHECK project, and having in mind to the necessity to ensure high quality installation of components, but also to ensure high performance of building envelope as a whole. The necessity to embed appropriate knowledge and skills in the existing operation, and to foster the evolution of the national qualification system together with the key stakeholders. This was the Pillar 2 project, and of course we didn't stop there. I will present mainly the achievement and the status quo after the QUALICHECK project, and also some highlights from the Train to NZEB project, which is a Horizon 2020 on construction skills. About the qualification scheme, first of all, this is a first occurrence in Romania. We had qualification, qualification system, but we didn't have the concept as such of a qualification scheme. So we started by seeking a global vision on qualifications. We identified the relevant occupations for the qualification schemes. One of them was not existing, so we had to start from scratch, the ethics installer. And for the window installer, we changed the qualification in order to fit in the new concept of qualification scheme. So we started from the occupational analysis, the market study with the key stakeholders. We developed the occupational standards. One was brand new, the other one was a revised one. We faced some challenges because we started to define and implement a new concept while the qualification system, education system was in continuous change. So we defined the occupational standard while the model, the template for occupational standard was changing in the days when we developed. So the occupational standard, which is the reference for vocational training of adults. Based on that, and we included in the occupational standard the framework curricula for the two occupations. We developed the materials, the manuals, the presentations, the evaluation instruments, and we planned the implementation of the training program. So, sorry. The occupational standards were the first to be developed under the new methodology. We introduced new occupations in the nomenclature of occupations and registry of occupation and registry of qualifications. And what we did is to define flexible training programs based on modules. For each module, we defined, for each competence, we define a module in order to give flexibility because it's a long program. And we tested, we validated, and we promoted the training programs by one pilot course for each qualification. It was not enough to think of good qualification schemes with good tools, but also to think about mechanisms for the implementation. So we tried and we started to use the existing networks, first of all from the consortium, for the contractors, the producers, and the educational key actors. We defined a framework for vocational training based on existing platform, trying to have recommendations and tools to adapt them in order to ensure the flexibility of the scheme and the large scale and long-term implementation. We defined the registry for qualified person, which is generally is not restricted to these qualifications. It's for all trainings in the national qualification system. We defined and we developed and we put to the disposal of interest persons the tools for skills evaluation for skills which were acquired in informal or non-formal environments. And we defined a new concept which helped a lot the implementation of the scheme, which is the partnership for education. And if we're talking about implementation of the qualification scheme, effective qualification on the market, two things are crucial: recognition of the qualification or of the training, and funding. In terms of recognition, this could be done by the construction market, and this is one of the main barriers discovered in our consultation. Can be done by the national qualification system, is the path that we choose when we develop the qualification schemes in the QUALICHeCK project. And then we can have recognition by having some voluntary systems, but which are recognized, required in the public funding for energy performance of building, renovation, upgrade, or construction works for new buildings. In terms of funding, we didn't start from the money available for funding, which is usually European Social Fund. As public money, we started from the dimensioning and share of resources, the concept of partnership of education that I will detail in 1 minute. And then to define some public or private funds for training, public from the taxes or private from the producers. And then to seek the public money designed for qualification, for training within the European Social Fund. The main output, I would say, a success story of the project was the concept of partnership for education, which was thought as a voluntary agreement for qualification to ensure the large-scale and long-lasting attributes of Build Up Skills QUALICHeCK schemes implementation. So the basic idea is to have partnership between three key main actors. It's the training provider, which can be a professional technological school or a training provider, a qualification provider on the market for adults. The second one is the construction company, the contractor, the builder, which is usually the employer of the qualified or not qualified personnel, and the technology or system producer or supplier on the market, in our case for the building envelope, which is the one who is supplying the product but is not installing the product. So the quality of the product installed in the building is crucial for them. So this is a partnership in order to serve the workforce and in order to serve the clients. So these are the final beneficiaries of the qualified workforce. And what is very important, and we seek for that, it's very difficult to bring them on board, is to have the local authorities. First of all, because it's about the implementation of the strategy and it's the principle of think globally, act locally. And then it's about having the professional schools, for example, which are managed by the local authorities. So this partnership for education is based on natural drivers. So we try to identify and then to match needs and offer of each actor. For example, the need for expenses for costs for consumables, equipment, location from practice, the on-site, from the part of the training, but also offering the training content, the location for theory, the trainers. For the contractors, the first need is to have certified qualified workers with which they can go to tendering, for example, and they can offer fully equipped on-site locations. And then also the need and offer from the technology suppliers. All in one, it was about a common goal and shared resources, which was the brand of QUALICHECK of this partnership for education. One usefulness which is very obvious is in reducing the cost for participation. For example, if we take all the components of the costs for a training program for ethics installer, we can sum up to 1,000 euro per trainee, which can be reduced to a half if some of the partners are sharing the resources in order to implement the qualification scheme, the qualification program. What we identified in our consultation were some various bottlenecks, some drivers, and also we have some lessons learned, which help us to increase the implementation on the market of the training programs and also to define more practicals and more acceptable training programs as I will present in a brief moment of training to enter. So the main barriers were the lack of sufficient funding and the poor recognition, were the main concerns that I already presented. And the drivers that I needed, and they will help a lot in implementing qualification programs on the market, is to update a legal program and procedures from tendering process in order to have requirements for qualification, to set quality and performance levels for spending, for example, public money. This could be a very good example. And then the compliance, the control enforcement, also dedicated financial sources and instruments for training, and the authorities' involvement in supporting and stimulating the partnership for education between the market and the education. About the lesson learned, what you see on the left, on the right, there are some pictures on what is the current practice now. It could happen, of course. And the main lesson learned is about changing the attitude on one side of the manager of construction company to understand the importance of qualification in terms of efficiency, productivity, and offering quality, so maintaining their position on the market or improving their position on the market, and from the employees to generate a self-control attitude, which could be obtained by qualification. The effective implementation of nearly zero energy buildings requirements, which are set, we know them, are in the legal framework, but to have in reality this concept is a great challenge. And this can be done only by working with qualified workers. So what we have learned is, in terms of qualification, we have a very long duration, which implies high cost, and we discover a general reluctance to participate from the employees and from the employers. It's about national recognition, which is a good thing, but if you do not have sufficient personnel qualified with the schemes, you cannot use the national recognition. We define the AQF level, the qualification levels, to three maybe four, and we offer basic competence for one single occupation. In terms of specialization, this is what we intend to do in the train to NZEB knowledge. It's a more flexible duration. We are speaking about courses from 6 hours, which is 1 day, to 9 days, and in exceptional cases, for example, for the PV installer, could be longer. This means reduced cost and involvement, availability for the participation in the courses. In terms of recognition, we have also the authorized programs, but I think it's more important to build trust. So to develop a label which can be recognized by the market, and then it will be recognized by the authorities. We target a bigger range of qualification levels, and we, based on already qualified personnel in their occupation, and to add competence related to the NZEB concept, and which is very important, the cross-craft understanding. So we are speaking about building knowledge hubs, which is a sort of partnership between education and industry, and Cluster Pro NZEB, which is the cluster for promotion NZEB in Romania, which is bringing together research and the market, the industry. So these are the components of the newly zero energy building concept. We have a very reduced energy need building and use of renewables. But behind this very simple definition, we have technology, we have principles of how to build low energy building and how to put renewable energy systems on a building. And this requires skills and practical training. And what we are trying to do in the building knowledge hubs, which will be developed in 4 countries plus Ukraine, 4 countries are abiding to the project, and Ukraine is already starting to develop training programs. It's about training facilities which are developed based on explicit terms of reference, which are public on the website. We are defining training courses for 3 categories of target groups: high-level specialists, on-site workers, and non-technical specialists, which are the decision makers or end users. Programs are based on the individual modules, and they are linked to a qualification level and to the basic occupation. And what is, again, very important is the cross-craft. Each piece of the construction chain, of the construction process, should know what is their position in the whole process, understanding the NZEB principles. So it's about having existing relevant skills for the conventional buildings and adding NZEB understanding. All in all, this is the presentation I wanted to do. And as a simple conclusion, I think that implementing newly zero energy building concept means understanding the principle for the whole process, the construction, understanding the quality and the compliance. And qualification is a way to ensure quality and to unburden the compliance system. It's all about trust, and trust should be built. And one way to build trust is the qualification, trust in quality. And I remember in the last QUALICHeCK conference in May this year, one said that, remind us about what Lenin says. It's a very known saying that trust is good, but control is even better. Yes, it's true, it's still valid, but I think that we should learn about our society and our evolution of business society, and I've read sometimes in Forbes magazine that control is good, but trust is cheaper. So I think that we should not neglect the power of qualification and of training when we are speaking about the NZEB concept implementation in real life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Horia. Very, very big program what you presented there. Impressive.